For several years, Joe Rogan has been one of the most vocal commentators on the public relationship between Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. Long before details about their separation became public, Rogan repeatedly questioned the state of their marriage and suggested that Will Smith appeared unhappy. What began as reactions to interviews and public appearances eventually developed into a running discussion across multiple episodes of the Joe Rogan Experience. To understand why Rogan's comments continue attracting attention, it helps to understand the people involved. Joe Rogan built his career through stand-up comedy, television, sports commentary, and podcasting. After early success on the sitcom News Radio and as the host of Fear Factor, he became one of the most influential voices in digital media through the Joe Rogan Experience. The podcast regularly features long-form conversations with comedians, athletes, actors, scientists, and political figures. Known for his informal style, Rogan often discusses topics that many traditional media outlets avoid. Will Smith followed a very different path. Rising from music to television and then film, he became one of Hollywood's most successful actors. Through projects such as The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Men in Black, Ali, and The Pursuit of Happiness, Smith built a reputation as one of the entertainment industry's most recognizable and widely respected figures. For decades, he was viewed as a positive and inspirational public figure. Jada Pinkett Smith established her own successful career through television, film, and later digital media. Her roles in productions such as Set It Off, The Nutty Professor, and The Matrix series helped establish her as a respected actress. In later years, she became known for hosting Red Table Talk, a show built around open conversations about relationships, family, and personal experiences. By the time Rogan became deeply involved in discussing the Smith family, public interest in their marriage had already grown significantly. The situation became even more visible following Jada's public discussion of her relationship with singer August Alsina. During an episode of Red Table Talk, Jada confirmed that a relationship had taken place during a period when she and Will were separated. The conversation generated widespread attention and introduced millions of people to personal details about the couple's private life. However, the event that transformed the discussion completely occurred on March 27, 2022. During the Academy Awards, comedian Chris Rock made a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith's appearance. Moments later, Will Smith walked onto the stage and slapped Rock in front of a global audience. The incident instantly became one of the most talked about moments in entertainment history. Millions of people debated Smith's actions, the Academy's response, and what the incident revealed about the pressures facing public figures. Joe Rogan was among those who reacted immediately. Just 2 days after the Oscars, Rogan discussed the incident on his podcast with MMA fighter Josh Barnett. He described Chris Rock's joke as relatively mild and argued that Smith's reaction was completely out of proportion. Rogan criticized both the slap itself and the Academy's decision to allow Smith to remain at the ceremony. He also expressed concern about what the incident could mean for comedians who rely on freedom of expression while performing. What made Rogan's reaction stand out was that he viewed the slap as part of a larger story. Rather than focusing only on the Oscars, he began discussing Will Smith's personal life and marriage. Over several podcast episodes, Rogan suggested that Smith appeared emotionally overwhelmed and argued that the incident reflected deeper issues beyond a single joke. His comments quickly spread across social media, where clips from the podcast generated millions of views. A few weeks later, another story added to the conversation. During an appearance on Patrick Bet-David's podcast, it was revealed that Rogan had made a friendly $100 bet regarding the future of Will and Jada's marriage. Bet-David believed the couple would eventually divorce, while Rogan believed they would remain together longer than expected. Although the wager itself was light-hearted, It highlighted how much public attention was already focused on the state of the marriage. As 2022 continued, Rogan returned to the subject repeatedly. His comments became less focused on the Oscars and more focused on what he believed was happening behind the scenes. By this point, he was no longer simply reacting to a celebrity controversy. He was building a larger argument about fame, relationships, and the personal pressures faced by one of Hollywood's most famous couples. That argument would continue evolving over the next several years as new information about Will and Jada's relationship became public. As the months passed after the Oscars incident, Joe Rogan's commentary became less focused on the slap itself and more focused on what he believed it revealed about Will Smith's personal life. In May 2022, during an episode of the Joe Rogan Experience with comedian Tony Hinchcliffe, Rogan expanded on ideas he had previously hinted at. While praising Smith's talent as an actor, he suggested that the Oscar incident reflected deeper emotional struggles. Rogan described Smith as someone who appeared emotionally vulnerable and argued that the reaction on stage seemed completely out of character when compared to the public image Smith had maintained for decades. Much of Rogan's attention centered on Jada Pinkett Smith. During the discussion, he referenced her reaction immediately following the slap and suggested that Will appeared heavily influenced by the dynamics of their relationship. Rogan used strong language to describe what he believed was happening, arguing that Smith seemed trapped in a situation that was damaging his emotional well-being. These comments quickly spread online and became some of the most widely shared clips from the podcast. Not everyone agreed with his assessment. Critics argued that Rogan was making assumptions about a private relationship without knowing what was actually happening behind closed doors. Others felt his comments placed too much blame on Jada while removing personal responsibility from Will Smith's actions. Supporters, however, believed Rogan was simply saying what many people were already thinking after watching years of public discussions about the couple's marriage. As public debate continued, Rogan's views began to evolve in one important way. By January 2023, he appeared less interested in criticizing Will Smith and more interested in understanding him. During a conversation with actor Jon Bernthal, Rogan admitted that his feelings towards Smith had softened over time. He acknowledged that Smith appeared genuinely remorseful about the slap and argued that people should eventually be allowed to move forward after making serious mistakes. Rogan emphasized that Will Smith remained a human being despite the controversy. He suggested that years of success, praise, and public admiration may have created pressures that most people could never fully understand. While he still disagreed with Smith's actions at the Oscars, he no longer viewed the actor solely through the lens of that single moment. Instead, he described someone struggling with personal challenges while facing intense public scrutiny. Interestingly, this shift in tone did not extend to Rogan's broader views on the marriage itself. Although he became more sympathetic toward Will Smith, he continued questioning the relationship between Will and Jada. In his view, the problems visible to the public were signs of deeper issues that had existed for years. Every new interview, public statement, or discussion about their marriage seemed to reinforce that belief. The conversation resurfaced again in August 2024 during Rogan's interview with actor Adam Sandler. By this point, attention had largely shifted away from the slap and toward its long-term consequences. Rogan argued that the incident had ultimately helped comedian Chris Rock's career by generating renewed interest in his work. Both Rogan and Sandler discussed how the controversy changed public perceptions of everyone involved. While Chris Rock appeared to move forward professionally, Will Smith continued dealing with the fallout years later. Rogan became even more critical of the Academy Awards themselves. In March 2025, during a conversation with comedian Bert Kreischer, he revealed that the slap had permanently changed his opinion of the Oscars. He argued that allowing Smith to remain at the ceremony and later accept an award sent the wrong message. According to Rogan, the Academy's response damaged the credibility of the event and raised questions about whether famous people are treated differently from everyone else. A month later, he revisited the subject again. This time, Rogan focused on what he viewed as the lack of legal consequences following the incident. He questioned how a physical altercation that occurred in front of millions of viewers resulted in no immediate arrest or removal from the event. While many people believed the matter had already been resolved, Rogan argued that the public response remained inconsistent with how similar situations would be handled outside Hollywood. Throughout these years, one theme remained constant. Whether discussing the slap, the Academy Awards, Chris Rock, or Will Smith himself, Rogan repeatedly returned to the same idea, that the public was witnessing the consequences of problems that had been building for a long time. He believed the Oscars incident was not the beginning of the story, but rather the moment when private struggles became impossible to hide. That belief would gain even more attention when new revelations about Will and Jada's relationship emerged, leading many people to revisit Rogan's earlier comments and ask whether he had seen signs that others had missed. By 2025 and 2026, many of the details Joe Rogan had been discussing for years were no longer based on speculation. New interviews, memoirs, and public statements from Will and Jada themselves gave people a clearer picture of what had been happening behind the scenes. One of the biggest revelations came when Jada Pinkett Smith disclosed that she and Will Smith had been living separate lives since 2016, despite remaining legally married. The announcement surprised many people because it meant that several major public events, including the Oscars incident, had occurred while the couple was already separated. For some observers, this information changed how they viewed Joe Rogan's earlier comments. Rogan had spent years suggesting that the marriage appeared troubled and that Will Smith seemed to be carrying emotional pressure that was not visible to the public. While he never claimed to know the details of their relationship, supporters argued that later revelations appeared to support his belief that deeper issues existed long before the Oscars slap. Others saw the situation differently. Critics pointed out that relationship problems are common and that public speculation can sometimes oversimplify complicated personal situations. They argued that knowing a marriage faced challenges does not automatically validate every opinion or criticism made about it. Like many celebrity stories, the reality was likely more complicated than any outsider could fully understand. What remained clear was that the Oscars incident continued to shape public perceptions of everyone involved. For Chris Rock, the event became an unexpected turning point. His comedy tours received increased attention, and many viewers praised the way he handled the situation without escalating the conflict. For Will Smith, however, the consequences lasted much longer. The Academy suspended him from attending the Oscars for 10 years, and discussions about the incident continued years after it happened. Joe Rogan frequently returned to this point. He argued that a single moment had dramatically changed the public image of one of Hollywood's most successful actors. For decades, Will Smith had been viewed as one of the most positive and widely respected figures in entertainment. After the slap, conversations about his career often began with that incident rather than his accomplishments. At the same time, public opinion about Jada Pinkett Smith became increasingly divided. Some people admired her willingness to speak openly about difficult subjects, including marriage, personal growth, and family struggles. Others felt that too much of the family's private life had been discussed publicly. The release of her memoir and additional interviews only intensified those disagreements. This is where the larger debate begins. The story is no longer simply about Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith, or Joe Rogan. It has become a conversation about celebrity culture itself. How much should public figures share about their personal lives? Does openness help people better understand one another, or does it create new problems? And how much responsibility do audiences have when judging relationships they can only see from the outside? Joe Rogan's role in the story reflects those questions. To some people, he was simply offering commentary on events that were already public. To others, he became one of the loudest voices shaping how millions of people viewed the Smith family during one of the most difficult periods of their lives. Years later, there is still no universal agreement on who was right. Some believe Rogan accurately identified signs of deeper problems long before they became public. Others believe he drew conclusions without having access to the full story. Both perspectives continue to exist, which is one reason the discussion remains relevant. What is certain is that the story changed how many people view celebrity relationships. The public image presented to audiences is not always the full picture. Behind interviews, red carpets, and social media posts are real people dealing with challenges that often remain hidden until circumstances bring them into public view. For Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith, those challenges became impossible to keep private. For Joe Rogan, they became the subject of years of commentary and debate. And for the public, the story became a reminder that even the most famous relationships can be far more complicated than they appear from the outside.